This is going to be a quick comparison between the Galaxy S3 and the new Galaxy S5. Right, here we have the Galaxy S3 next to the Galaxy S5. And you can see they're very similar in size, except that the new S5 does have a bigger screen. It's a 5.1 inch screen versus the 4.7 on the S3. And also the resolution is much better on the S5. It is 1920 by 1080 versus 1280 by 720 on the S3. As you see here, by default, at least on the AT&T version of the Samsung Galaxy S3, you have 7 home screens. You have 3 to one side, and your center home screen when you get to by hitting the center button on the bottom there. And you have 3 to the other side. While with the S5, by default, if you go to the left, you have the My Magazine screen, which can be disabled if you'd like. And then you have 4 screens total going off to the right. You can switch back and forth. And if you'd like to add a new home screen, you just pinch in and go off to the side. And if you hit plus, that will add another home screen. And if you'd like to get rid of the My Magazine, go into Settings. Your home screen is actually just a checkbox. You just uncheck that. Then you're just left with your 4 home screens, and again, you could add them as you'd like. And if you want it to be similar to the Galaxy S3 and have the middle screen be your actual home screen, you go over here and just toggle it up here, and that'll change what your default home screen is. I'm just going to leave it to the default here. You just click on the screen and it brings you back. Now, on the 2 of them, if you bring down the notification drawer, very similar. You have your quick toggle buttons up top. You have your display brightness, where you can set to auto, or you just adjust it by clicking on here. You also have your notifications listed. And by scrolling quick toggle notifications here, you can scroll back and forth, which is the same on the S3 on the right here, as it is on the S5 on the left. Now with the S5, you can actually hit this button in the upper right corner and see all of your different toggle buttons here, which gives you access to quite a few more. And you can also click the edit button here and choose which ones you want from the default, or you can add these other available buttons. Also, you can see here, even though there's 1 physical button and 2 capacitive buttons on both of these, they made a slight change with the S5. By default, on the S3, you have the back button on the right, and you have a menu button on the left, plus then the center home button. But with the Galaxy S5, you still have the back button on the right, but you actually have your recently used apps button, which lets you go through, also considered like the multitasking button. So you can go back and forth and go to your previous applications. And also if you click on that, you can see what's running or active applications, and you can end them if you like, and also see how much memory it's being used up. Now if you actually go into settings on both, you can see that the look of it is quite a bit different. They also have it organized differently. Here is just kind of a scrolling through. They had it separated with these bars, was basically just scroll from top to bottom to get to all your different settings. While here, they still sort of have that, but they have rounded buttons, and they have them grouped a lot more together. And you can also collapse anyone you don't want to see, and then hit it again. It'll open up again. And then the common ones you'd probably be going to a lot, like display on the S3, display on the S5, and the same sort of things. You can adjust the brightness, the screen rotation, a lot of the features like Smart Stay and Smart Rotation. And also the screen timeout, which is the same on both. So anywhere from 15 seconds up to 10 minutes. And also you have the sound. Or if you don't like the sounds that either one makes when you're touching things and you're switching from screen to screen and it makes the different sounds, if you go into this setting and just uncheck touch sounds on either one, then that gets rid of that, well, a lot of people find it annoying sound. And a quick look at the camera on both. As you can see, there are some similarities. They have the quick function buttons up top, or if you hold it sideways, it'll be in the left. And one big change they made is that with the Galaxy S3, you'd have to hit this toggle button to go between taking still pictures and doing video. While with the S5, you actually have dedicated buttons. So if you hit the center button there, you'll take a picture, snapshot. On the right, you'll start taking video. Now, if you look here, look at settings. Again, they changed it to give you a lot more options right on the main screen. Here, and you can just toggle them on and off. While with the S3, you kind of had to scroll through. And also with the S5, you have your different modes here, and you can scroll through. And the S5 has a nice feature that was actually introduced in the S4, which is dual camera, which will take both front and back, and it'll do it in different ways. If you hit this button here, it'll give you all the different options for this feature. So you can make it look like a stamp. So that'll be your or your forward, back-facing camera and the stamp, and then you'll have the front-facing camera going the other way. Go back to normal. Now with the Galaxy S3, you can shoot video at 1080p. With the S5, you could also do that, but you could also do the Ultra HD, which is 3840 by 2160. But you can only shoot that up to a maximum of 5 minutes. Now, quickly going over the specs on the two phones. The screen on the S3 is 1280 by 720. While on the S5, it's 1920 by 1080. They both have quad-core processors, but the Galaxy S3 has a 1.4 gigahertz Samsung Exynos 4 processor, while the new S5 has the Snapdragon 801 running at 2.5 gigahertz, which is a nice speed bump. They both have 2 gigabytes of RAM. The S3, some of the versions, if you had the international version, had only 1 gigabyte RAM, but the US versions have 2 gigabytes. They both come standard with either 16 or 32 gigs of RAM. I think you could also get up to 64 gigabytes. They both have the ability to use micro SD cards. The S3 will go up to 64 gigabyte SD card, and the new S5 will go up to 128 gigabytes micro SD card. So I'll just take a quick look. This right here. See, it's very similar. Again, it has the 3 buttons on the side. You see the camera up top here. This is the back. They have the speaker on the bottom left. While I used to have it on the upper right on the S3. You still have the power button on the right side. The volume rocker is on the left side right up here. And the USB port is actually covered because this is water and dust resistant. So they have this little flap that you open up and then you can insert your USB. It's actually USB 3. And then on the top here you can see the headphone jack is now on the right, where it used to be on the left side with the Galaxy S3. So that's just a quick look at the S5 versus the S3. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more Windows 8, Android, or beginners videos, click on one of these video clips, and also consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you.